Earlier in the week, I wrote about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think that's how you say his name. And I never really even knew who the hell this guy was till just a couple of years ago when everybody started paying attention to him and bringing him up. And I didn't really understand it. I was like, okay, so he's a scientist. He's an astrophysicist, to be specific. And he's a celebrity one. You know, he's kind of like trying to carry on the torch of Carl Sagan, and you know, he's like Bill Nye. Everybody loves Bill Nye. It's so funny how like back in the day when Bill Nye was on TV, I remember being a kid, the dude was like super cheesy. The show was cool, I guess, but it was really cheesy and just I thought it was stupid. And it's cool that you now when you think about it, oh, they're teaching science to kids, right? I'm sure some of it was propaganda, but you know, it's a cool concept. And now this guy and this Tyson fella are like celebrated as, you know, just intellectuals, and every time they say anything, people hang on their every word. And so I happened to come across a video where Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Real Time with Bill Maher, the comedian and liberal activist Bill Maher, and they had a little behind-the-scenes video that Tyson shot with him, and they're having a conversation basically about, you know, climate change in the world. And Maher begins by discussing the drought in California and the possibility of a larger, more lethal drought happening in his lifetime. He asks, where do we go? What's the nearest place? Talking about, you know, leaving the planet to get away from climate change and to get away from the drought. And deGrasse Tyson answers, you know what I want to happen? I think it's not about finding another planet. I think it's about being masters of geoengineering. He says, think about it. We run away from volcanoes. We know how to tap a keg. Let's tap the volcano. Take the pressure out so it doesn't explode. Use the thermal energy to drive the power needs of a city. We run away from hurricanes. We're not there yet. Imagine if we controlled the energy of the earth. Oh my gosh. Then we can control where it rains and how much it rains. We're just these scurrying, scared things, he says. And, okay, so on the surface, that sounds kind of cool, but it also sounds kind of creepy for him to say, if we control the energy of the earth, and talking about controlling hurricanes, when we know that there is evidence that that technology is already in existence. Unfortunately, he seems painfully uneducated about the dangers associated with the science of geoengineering. And I'll leave you to read the article to go further, but there's a study published from MIT's Center for Global Change Science and the Department of Earth, Atmospheric and Planetary Sciences, found that ocean fertilization geoengineering would alter global rainfall patterns and affect water resources. We got researchers, what did they say? These researchers found that geoengineering could substantially reduce precipitation in some regions. And another study says that precipitation would also decline worldwide. Some parts of the world would be worse off. Europe, the Horn of Africa, and Pakistan may receive less rainfall. The rainfall could reduce water resources considerably and threaten the environment and livelihoods of the animal and people in the regions. Also, another study in February 2015, the International Committee of Scientists released a report stating that geoengineering techniques are not a viable alternative to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. They call for further research and saying that these, they could be dangerous if they're employed. They found that solar radiation management, which is the spraying of particulates out of airplanes, is likely to, quote, present serious known and possible unknown environmental, social, and political risk, including the possibility of being deployed unilaterally. The idea that a country could just unilaterally, on their own, decide to start doing this. Now let's stop for a moment and think about this. If there was any country out there that might possibly, and that has a history of doing things unilaterally, on their own, completely against the advice of others, what country might that be? Who could possibly think this would be a good idea? Another danger of manipulating the weather is apparently we risk the loss of blue skies. A report by the new scientist Ben Kravitz of the Carnegie Institution for Science has shown that releasing sulfate aerosols, which is what solar radiation management geoengineering wants to do, says that this could decrease the amount of sunlight that hits the ground by 20% and make the sky appear more hazy. Another study in 2013 published by the Journal of Geophysical Research says if geoengineering programs are started and then suddenly halted, the planet could see an immediate rise in temperatures, particularly over land. So, it's completely disturbing to see this apparently educated person Neil deGrasse Tyson promoting the use of this disastrous science, which has been found time and time again to cause more trouble than solutions. And yeah, please read the article for yourself. I go on further. There's more and more information out there coming out every day about the dangers of geoengineering, and maybe that was unnecessary. They're like, why are you beating up on this guy? I watched Cosmos. He was kind of funny. He's entertaining. He makes jokes, but nobody's untouchable, and it's about tipping the sacred cows, the people that everybody is in love with. I love to challenge their thinking, to challenge them, not unnecessarily. I think this is a legitimate point to bring up to him. Like, hey, dude, you kind of, it's a YouTube video, right? It's a behind-the-scenes conversation. He didn't write a paper promoting the use of geoengineering, but obviously he thinks it's a good idea. And I saw on somebody commented on one of the articles, this article when it got posted, another talk that he did where he was also promoting geoengineering. So apparently this is a part of his ideas and something that he thinks is good. And I would love to have a conversation with him, because I'm sure that he has to be aware, that there's dangers to this, and maybe he is aware and he's not saying to just rush into that. So we just need to have him talk more about this, and that's why I asked, why is he promoting geoengineering?